Welcome to the Business Bravery podcast, inspiring stories from coaches and course creators to help you do the next brave thing in your business. Coming up on the Business Bravery podcast.
I can't go back to the clinic. I cannot go back to the traditional healthcare model that tells me how to treat patients.
Marketing lends itself to, here's a simple solution, here's this one thing that you're missing.
Yes.
And that can be easier for people to buy into and understand, as opposed to, hey, it could be a range of things and we need to find the right one. And
this is how I have to eat today. And there's a day that just doesn't work for whatever reason. You didn't sleep well, you're super stressed, life is chaotic, and that doesn't work. That you're like, I can't fit in my hour workout that I'm supposed to do. It's on my list. And then you're like, well, forget it. And then you feel like a failure.
Two people doing the exact same marketing strategy or maybe the exact same health strategy, and somebody gets amazing results and somebody, it doesn't really work for them, and that mindset side can just be the key to that.
But the financial bravery, for me, that was the biggest thing.
Oh, for sure. Me too. Again, our brains were wired for routine. And so, okay, a paycheck every 2 weeks is really, really nice. And you don't even really think about it until you're thinking about not having it. And then like, oh, wait, what?
I'm your host, Tiffany Gleland, an Australian business and launch coach with 10 years experience in online marketing. I help coaches to be brave so they can break through a dry spell and sign their next clients. I'm also the creator of the Brave Launch Framework. I coach, consult, and provide marketing services. Today, I'm talking to Tracy Hill and Jessica Midkiff, who are not your ordinary health coaches. This dynamic duo are both Doctors of Physiotherapy as well as Master Neuro Coaches. They are former clients of mine, and I'm also a client of theirs. We've worked together since 2020, and through my work with them, I've become fascinated with the role that mindset plays in both our health and business. For example, we often know the skills we need to get healthier or build a business, but it can be really hard to take action. Mastering skills like consistency as well as resilience and being kind to yourself are essential to both health and business success. In this episode, conversation flows between health and business, and it's the underlying mindset skills which you can apply to both. So if you start tuning out because you're already a master at health, imagine applying these concepts to your business. Stay tuned for a fascinating discussion as we discover stories of their business bravery, past, present, and future. Now, who's ready for some business bravery inspiration? Let's dive in.
Welcome everyone to the Business Bravery podcast. I am here with Tracy Hill and Jessica Midkiff from Journey Strong. Be Journey Strong? Is that right? God, I'm doing well.
It's a little bit of both.
It is. Okay.
Be Journey Strong.
Be Journey Strong. Awesome. Okay. Been working with these guys for years. They do amazing things. I don't need to know the name of their business. I just know that they changed my life in particular when it comes to health. They've also been former clients of mine, and I've helped them launch their group program. And yeah, today we're going to talk all things bravery and business and all that good stuff. So to start with,
Thanks for having us on, Tiff. We're excited.
Yeah.
Awesome. To start with, I'm going to ask you guys, tell us a bit about your business and sort of where it's at now, and what brave things are you doing in your business right now?
Well, I will start. We are Doctors of Physical Therapy. We left the clinical world, the traditional healthcare model, to serve as health coaches, to serve women in particular in a greater capacity to find success and freedom in their body and stay, most importantly, consistent without the hustle, the willpower, in order for them to essentially live the lives that they love through the body that they love.
That's what we do. and thanks to you, Tiff, like working with you, it really helped us to get a little more crystal clear on when we're leaving the clinic and we want to go pursue something in the online space to help women in a greater capacity in and around health. What the heck are we doing? Tiff, you were integral in helping us kind of get a little more clear on what in the world this moving from a healthcare clinical mindset, clinical practice space into utilizing this online platform to grow a business that is non-traditional. Yeah, there are health coaches out there, but there are more traditional ways of going about it. And so we were, when we talk about brave things, that was brave. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. I mean, and to use computers is like, okay, we got to use computers for documentation, folks, but that's about the skill set.
So yeah, when we talk brave, I was looking through your questions and I'm thinking this has been one giant brave journey after another. And the scary stepping out into what we're supposed to do. We have doctoral degrees. We have people out there who expect us to use our doctorates in a particular way. And the way that we are using it right now is not the way that we are supposed to. And so that has been brave and scary and a whole identity crisis and shift of seeing what is it that we want to do. And you know what? We don't have to do it the way that everybody else is doing. Our bravery journey has it's continued to unravel one thing after another as we've unraveled our business and really understood and resonated. What are we doing? How are we serving people? And shifting into that person. And it's been scary.
But worthwhile.
100%. I can't go back to the clinic. I cannot go back to the traditional healthcare model that tells me how to treat patients, that tells me what I can treat, what I can't, what I have to bill, how much time I can spend with a patient. I just cannot do that because I was not able to serve people in the way that I wanted. Sure, I could help people in the clinic and the healthcare model has its place, but I knew that I was cut out for something different. And so 100% brave and scary, but worth it.
So how do you get to help your people better by what you do now? Like give us an example of something that you can do differently now that you're not constrained by the healthcare model.
So many different ways. Well, I mean, from a clinical aspect, people come to physical therapy. They need physical therapy because something's happened in their body and it limits them from moving and doing life the way they want to. And so the mindset coming to us is rehabilitative, right? And so we are gifted at being able to look at someone's body and do an evaluation and put together a game plan that meets their body where it's at and takes them from point A with dysfunction and moves them towards Z of restoration of function, as good as it can get clinically. Sometimes that's 100%, sometimes it's not 100%, but it's different percentages, but they no longer are in need of rehabilitative care. Tracy and I love doing that. We were trained doing that, but how we're wired, we're like, we're healthcare warriors. And this snippet of time and space of health that we get to intervene is more rehabilitative. And it's not like prolonged lifestyle outside of the clinic beyond. And so we would see repeat patients for different reasons, right? And so that it just drove us crazy. We wanted to be able to have a greater influence on someone's experience in their body and in their health journey than just a snippet of time. And so that's what our health coaching allows us to do.
And to empower people to stay on the course. We knew very well I don't know how Australia works, but in the US, your traditional physical therapy is going to be twice a week for 4 to 6 weeks, kind of on average. And people could make improvements in that time. But so often it was this, okay, well, you're better-ish. Good luck. Bye-bye. Here are some exercises that you should do and send them on their way. And I had a pit in my stomach every single time with people that I was like, I know this person has so much more inside of them, but I also know this person is 100% not going to continue it when I'm not helping them because I was not able to give them the tools and the resources to keep it going when they got sick, when the kids got in the way, when job stress got in the way. And that was always the thing, even, the repeat patients that Jess talks about. It was well, did you do the stuff that I gave you last time? Yeah, I did. And did it help? And I was doing it. But then I stopped. Well, life got in the way and then I stopped. And so it broke my heart, these people who I knew were not going to continue it. And I especially saw it, and maybe it was just my own stage of life that I was in once I had babies. and realizing that challenge of the rodeo of life of I'm a working mom now and I want to take care of my family and I got to be home for my kids, but I don't want to feel like garbage and I want to exercise, and holy cow, how do I do this? And I definitely saw that in so many patients, specifically the women who were putting everything in their lives aside for their family, which is a good and noble thing, but then they were feeling like garbage. Or to the person who their kids were older and, not the little kids season, they would tell me these stories about how they used to be active and I never had pain like this. I never had this much weight on my belly before. Well, what happened? Why'd you stop? Well, I had kids and then I had to take care of this and then work. And so realizing that people were really struggling with this connection of how to integrate health as part of their life. And it was so just these buckets of this is my family bucket, this is my job bucket, this is my health bucket. And I don't have time for my health bucket. So that one's going to be pushed aside until I have time, until my kids are older. But then, oh, wait, now my kids are older and my body is a wreck. I hated that.
Gosh, even my own story, like I didn't have kids as the reason, but I had, back pain and chronic pain, which became the reason to not be doing those things. And then it was my body's a wreck. How do I move forward from here? So I definitely empathize with that for sure.
And then you, Tiff, you recognize how much that impacted your ability to show up for the work that you wanted to do and the people that you wanted to impact, right? Like when you weren't feeling good in your body and you were in chronic pain cycles, then you would have to modify how you worked and how much you could work. And then that led to, I feel like crud and now I'm going to eat M&Ms and, things that didn't like help your body recover and function so it becomes this vicious cycle. And Trace and I want to reach people for breaking that start, stop, stuck cycle and then integrating their health as a lifestyle as opposed to this is just a period of time I'm going to do this to get somewhere.
What brave things, or what's one brave thing that you're doing right now in your business as it is?
Oh, again, it just feels like one brave thing after another.
Bravery is trusting in your mission and that the money will come.
Yes, trusting that roller coaster ride of, okay, the bills are going to be paid, the right clients are going to be coming. As, like we said, like we've continued to evolve what we're doing and how we're saying it. And it's taken us a while to really solidify what is it that we are doing and how are we serving people. And so I think that's a brave thing as we're stepping into, the financial aspect, but it's being brave of like, okay, like for real, what is our mission? And seriously, what are we telling people and where are we taking them? Like, we don't doubt that we can help people. But that bravery piece of, but what does that look like? Exactly painting that picture and getting it crystal clear so that our clients understand it, so that we understand it enough to express it, because that has been one of our greatest challenges is saying it so that you, the person who is struggling in your body, resonates and says, oh my gosh, they're speaking to me. And that has been a brave process of really getting clear. And I think that comes from, as therapists, as clinicians, we really struggle with the one thing. Business coaches, and they tell you, find the one thing. Or if you look at anything in the health and fitness industry, it's like, do this one exercise and your low back pain will go away. Do this one exercise and you will drop the weight. And we don't believe that. We don't believe in the one size fits all. And so it has been scary, and I guess it forced us to be brave of like, we are going to speak this message of it's not one thing. It's not one quick fix, because we are in it for the long haul and we are in it for your uniqueness, because we know your body is different than my body and someone else's body. And it's just not one thing. That is a lie that we have been told.
Well, and you know that too, Tiff, with business.
Yeah.
You've had coaches and we see it all the time on social platforms like, oh, it's this one new strategy and it's going to get you 100 clients in 20 days or, whatever the tagline is. And so we've had to break through a lot of that head junk, taking that businessy, one size fits all, here's the quick fix aspect of that out of what we want to do, because we have to be true in integrity to who we are as clinicians, as health coaches, as women, as moms, the people that we are wired to be, so that we can help the people that we're supposed to help.
Absolutely. It is definitely very similar in business, or has been. I don't know. I think things are changing because, I mean, for me too, I've always not been a one size fits all type person as well. And so just because, you know, like I worked with a business coach once and she had one system, and when it didn't work for me, she said, I don't know why it's not working for you, and shrugged her shoulders. And I'd spent thousands of dollars on her, and I did not want to be like that. And luckily I've been doing this stuff for 10 years. So I have a whole range of options and things like that. But it definitely can be a little harder in the talking about it, because marketing lends itself to, oh, here's a simple solution, you know, oh, here's this one thing that you're missing.
Yes.
And that can be easier for people to buy into and understand, as opposed to, oh, hey, there's actually, it could be a range of things and we need to find the right one. And that's just not as sexy, even though it's realistic. And the right people are getting that though, because they've seen the one thing and have been burned by it. So I think that's changing.
And Tiff, I mean, that's one thing that you recognize in us with working with us. I mean, we came to you for help, and then you recognize like, hey, these girls are different. They're speaking health in a different way. And I have done the hustle workout. I have done the restricted eating and and lost the weight and done all the things. And you had results for a period of time until you didn't. And so you knew there needed to be something different. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And so you heard something, whatever it was we were saying at that point, you heard something different and you're like, all right. So yeah, the whole courage of persevering and withstanding the journey in the midst of fear and difficulty. Yes, that's like a daily basis for us right now.
Because I remember when we were working together and all that, it was a great fit because I was very close to your ideal client, which tends to work out with a lot of my clients who I work with. I tend to also be the ideal client that they're working with, and I can then advise and say, hey, this isn't connecting with me. It's not going to probably connect with others, and we can work out from there. But the thing that really got me with what you guys were doing was the brain science piece, the neuroscience piece of, you know, it's actually your brain has been working against you for health stuff. And that was something new I hadn't heard before. And I was like, oh, hang on, nobody's talked to me like this. And God, it's the best thing I ever did, because now so much of my health is just automatic thanks to you guys. I mean, we're still working together all these years later. Can't tell everybody enough how amazing you guys are. But also those are principles that I've taken into my business, and that actually I help my clients with in terms of doing stuff with the brain and all that sort of stuff too. So it's just been amazing on so many levels.
Yeah. Well, we got into the neuroscience for the business purpose in order to get the junk out of our heads of how the heck do we run a business and how do we do this? And then as we're learning all this science about the brain, we were like, hang on, this is exactly what we're thinking, and maybe even speaking some of this with our patients over the years. We just didn't resonate with like what the heck to call it. We just knew that there was this missing link, I guess, in getting people to be long-term successful. And it was really these limiting beliefs that people have in their bodies that can stem from, forever, of the time that you were picked last on the soccer team, the time that your mom or your aunt told you like, oh, honey, this is just your genetics, or you're just gonna your body's just going to fall apart after you have kids, and this is just what it is. And all of these stories of being told you're not good enough, you're not an athlete, that you don't have the right body shape and size. These are things that play into how you treat your body. And as we were, like I said, learning the business side of it, and intuitively the health made sense to us. And so I love that, like, we put it into perspective of your health, and you're like, yeah, this is business. And that makes sense to you. And that's where I just think it's so fantastic that we all have our skills. And for us, it 100% makes sense that, of course, you're going to put this into your health. And we have to go back and trace this when we're coming up with blocks in our business of, oh, hang on, we got to combat these stories, just like we would tell our clients with the limiting stories in their head through their health. We get the opportunity to talk to ourselves about the bravery and the scariness that are going on through our heads about building this business.
That's so powerful. We get to tell the stories.
Yeah. So I guess if there is one magic key, it is the brain science piece. You harness the power of your brain, and that's a game changer for any aspect in life. Yep. And I mean, in any freaking arena. It just has to have enough meaning behind it to want to do the work. And that's, that's a differentiating factor for someone who wants to get healthy. And what does that really mean? And then of course, my dog has to be barking. We have to dig into that a little bit further. Yeah, you want to make 10 grand in your first launch. Okay, well, why? And digging, like getting to the root of like, okay, what is that? Why is that so meaningful? And that's the same way as we approach health with our clients, is it's got to have meaning. And so, avoiding pain is one reason, but there's still more to that. Or wanting to lose certain inches or poundage, that has meaning, but there's deeper drive to our behavior. Like what is in our head that wants a change, and that our brain goes, yeah, but I'm going to protect you from that change because here's what I know. You've been eating this way, you've been exercising this way, this is how you've been living, you've had this many cycles of this. That's what I know. So that's where your brain wants to keep you. But we have the ability to help show you like, hey, it does not have to keep you, harnessed to what you know and how you've lived. You can unleash yourself and basically become free in your health, one little choice at a time, and harnessing the power of how you think and feel about your health, and therefore how you choose and behave for it. So it's really super powerful, super duper powerful.
Actually, just as you were talking about that, I just remember the times like in our sessions where it's like you've helped me connect to the deeper why I'm doing something, and then like why I want to do something with my health. And then it's way easier to take action from that. Actually, I don't know if I'm revealing secrets. You can tell me to edit this part out if you want.
No, that's 100%. Yeah.
It seems so crazy on the surface, but it's just, I know that there were times where I thought, I just wanted to lose some inches and get healthy. And just for anybody listening on the podcast who's not watching me on video, like I'm a curvy girl and I've been struggling with my weight and being overweight and obese for 2 decades. And I just remember thinking, it was just this surface level stuff. But then when we got into some of the deeper whys and some of the deeper stuff that was holding me back about, like feeling worthy and stuff. And it's not like we even said in the session, okay, so now you can go and do things. But that next couple of weeks, it was just way easier to take action, and I didn't have to have this deep conversation with myself about I don't really want to do it, but I can do it. And it was just it blows my mind how the mindset stuff is so key and so integral, especially because like we see, like I see all the time on the business side, and I'm sure you might have common things on the health side of two people doing the exact same marketing strategy or maybe the exact same health strategy, and somebody gets amazing results and somebody, it doesn't really work for them. And that mindset side can just be the key to that. And I mean, obviously on health, there can be other factors too, and same with business, but the mindset side can just be that key sometimes to...
Yeah, like we knew that we could not just hand out a checklist of these are the exercises that you need to do. This is the way that you need to eat, and you have to do it, because we knew that wasn't the only answer. Anyone can give you good exercise programs. We know that we stand by our exercises, and we have given you exercises, but we've also given you the freedom, and we give our clients the freedom to do the exercises that you love to do. And let's help guide you through exercises that you're successful in, that you can do pain-free, or shifting people in different ways. But knowing it's not just this checklist, because if it's only a checklist of this is my workout today, this is how I have to eat today, and there's a day that just doesn't work for whatever reason, you didn't sleep well, you're super stressed, life is chaotic, and that doesn't work, that you're like, I can't fit in my hour workout that I'm supposed to do, it's on my list. And then you're like, well, forget it. And then you feel like a failure. And instead, we like to give our clients the freedom to, hey, okay, you are in a different season right now. Your body's doing something funky, or you're in a season of fatigue and stress. We're going to shift the way that you do this so that you still feel successful even through this system versus this all or none health mentality. And so we take that checklist off because, again, it's not just what you do, it's that be part. It's that who are you becoming so that you can do the things that you want to do.
And I would say too, Tiff, like for your listeners, this is the Business Bravery podcast. We're talking about bravery. Like this is stuff that is not out there mainstream. It's being sold a different way. And so to go against the grain, go outside of your comfort zone, again, our brains are wired to resist outside of comfort zone. It's also wired to have great capacity outside there, but the initial brain's response is going to keep you safe and comfortable. And that's not courageous. And so you've got to be willing to, one, understand, like I said, like why you would want to change something or do something different, because different means you better put on your bravery and courage boots, folks, because you're trodden in unfamiliar territory. Okay. And Greenie Poo is going to go to work. It's going to try and pull you back to the comfort zone. And you're going to have this ebb and flow in and out. And so it helps to have somebody lock arms with and go, no, I don't want to go back to the comfort zone. I need to stay out here because this is where my true growth potential and impact really lies. And so that's where the coaching piece, when we worked with you, Tiff, the same thing. Like you just took us and said, okay, here's what we're going to do, guys. This is how we do it. And this is what we do for women on their health journeys, helping them to see health is a journey and it can be integrated as a lifestyle. And it doesn't have to be hard and hustly and grindy and deprivation and restrictions and shoulda and coulda and guilt and shame and start, stop, stuck and blah.
Yeah, it's interesting what you said there about how it links in with the bravery and everything too, just because, yeah, that's some of the stuff that I'm helping people with more as I dived into this podcast. And I've, got a little cheeky masterclass to help people with bravery and stuff. So for all of that kind of stuff that comes up. So yeah, it's coming up next week. So yeah.
How fun.
Yeah. So I know you told us about that shift from the clinic into becoming online health coaches, but what would you say was the bravest thing you had to do in that shift, maybe for each of you or for you guys together?
In that shift, the bravest thing, I think, again, it goes to that trust of the finances, of the stable paycheck, the consistent. I like stability. I like consistency. For me, that was very brave, especially when I made the shift. My home life was in turmoil too. And that was a major crossroads of I have to decide what I want, not just today to look like, but I had to look like at the big picture of I'm terrified and the timing of this is 100% terrible, but I just knew in my heart it was where I needed to be. And yeah, but the financial bravery, for me, that was the biggest thing.
Oh, for sure. Me too. Yeah. I mean, our brains were wired for routine. And so, okay, a paycheck every 2 weeks is really, really nice. And you don't even really think about it until you're thinking about not having it. And then like, oh, wait, what? And then like I had mentioned earlier, the whole, well, we weren't technological girls. We're clinicians. We do healthcare. We're experts in the human body and movement science. So what? And then on top of that, being able to explain like, well, I'm leaving the clinic to do, there was not a college degree. When you leave the clinic and you're going to become an online health coach, here's the courses you take. So anyway, yeah, lots of head stories, lots of all sorts of mind games, but yeah.
And we started separately. We both, around the same-ish time, we both quit our jobs and we were both kind of in this confused place. And we had reconnected over years. We've known each other for a very long time, but we had recently reconnected, and we're sitting here. It was in a gym environment, and we just kept talking and venting about the things that we were struggling with and how we wanted to help people. And one day we just looked at each other and we're like, we are doing the same thing. We are speaking the same thing. We are the same person. Let's do this together. So it's at least a little less scary. And that was so comforting to have someone come alongside with you, and we can fill in each other's gaps and strengths and weaknesses and everything like that. So that definitely helped with the fear part of, okay, I've got someone to collaborate with, and I've got someone who speaks it in a different way than me. There are people who resonate with each one of us differently just because of who we are and how we speak it. And that's definitely been helpful.
What's an example of one thing that came up like after you guys started working together and maybe you went, oh, I'm so glad that I have someone with me through this?
I think it was that we realized one of the greatest things in the clinic was that ability to bounce ideas off of each other. And we liked that energy. And so I think we realized like us bantering together allowed us to speak it better. We could go we were trying all these Facebook Lives and all these things. And I just felt like I was speaking to, I didn't even know who. And I felt so flustered. But then there was something about sitting down with Jess, and we could just go off on a rant. And then all of a sudden we'd be like, oh my gosh, that is the thing. And even when we're about to record our podcasts, sometimes our podcasts come about are just daily rants about something or a person that we've interacted with about their struggles, and we just start going off with each other and realizing, wow, the way that we connect and can feed off of each other just brought more energy, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
Such interesting stuff, actually, because I would struggle to work with someone in a business. I think I'm just a little too independent and a little too wanting my own way. But like, I've always loved how you guys work together and the strengths and the weaknesses. And sometimes it's like, oh, it'd be great if I had someone else to do that. But then there's been a couple of times where I've tried well before my online business days to work with someone on a business idea, and it just, the communication and all of that kind of stuff just didn't go well. And the other person was like, oh, I just assumed you knew what I meant. And it's like, no.
Yeah, it's scary, and it can be a challenge. But I think Jess and I realized like we are a greater force together. And I think because of how we come from different walks of life and backgrounds, Jess has she's built bigger than me, she's more muscular than me, and she's dealt with the side of, and sorry, Jess, I'm speaking for you, but
no, go ahead, sis.
Feeling not good enough because she wasn't the petite body, and I've struggled with being the scrawny tiny body of thinking, oh, I gotta have more muscle and I don't look good enough. And so it's so interesting that we come from these different perspectives. Like I said, Jess and I have known each other for a long time, and I remember when I was actually a student working in a clinic where Jess was there and thinking, she is way too cool for me, she is way too muscular, this girl is gorgeous. And I would see her at the gym and I'm like, man, I wish I could lift like her. And look at that body she's got. And hearing her talk to me, years later, hearing that she would sometimes look at me and be like, that skinny girl must be nice. And I think that's so great that we have that with each other, because we can speak to different sizes and people who have different challenges because we've walked in different ways. And I don't know, I just think it's fun and unique about us.
Definitely from the client perspective, that's been really powerful in the sessions of having the extra, like, different perspectives. It's not just the one perspective. It's like there's the three of us in the call and comparing perspectives of, oh yeah, I ran into that too, and oh yeah, but mine was a little different, but it's still the same. And just, yeah, so eye-opening.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, Tiff, it's not better to have a partnership, and it's not better to be solo. You recognize like where your strengths are and how it's wired. And ultimately it's just being able to most effectively reach your ideal client and make the impact that you really feel deep down in your soul that you want to make, that ripple effect on what your expertise is and how you help people. And so, and that's like health, like it doesn't have to be a particular way for you. It's just got to match what works best for you. Where are you at in your life? What's going on with your body? What do you want out of your activity level or the abilities? Or like what season of life are you in with kids or grandkids or retirement, travel, you know, whatever that is. And so recognizing where your strengths are and what your needs are, and then having the courage to stay true to that and go, okay, I'm going to find a solution for that. That's where I'm going to work.
One part of doing brave things is handling failure or things not working out exactly as planned. I don't know, failure is one of those loaded words I don't always enjoy using, but it's a word people recognize, but I don't think that failure is a bad thing. I was wondering if you can tell me about a time where maybe it took multiple tries to do something before it finally succeeded, and maybe the bravery that it took to keep going or things like that.
I think our whole, you know, working together has been one failure forward after another. But you know, we know inside of us, like deep inside of our core, we know we were meant to do something different, and we just keep trusting the process and taking one step forward and staying consistent along that journey. Being in this online space, and there's coaches everywhere, and you know, they're promising this and this is how you do this. And so of course we got sucked up in the coaching programs, and we paid thousands of dollars for 2 different coaching programs. One of them was our neuro coaching certification, which we are hugely grateful for. And as Tracy said, I think that was more for us first, just as humans on our like independent humans. And then we brought that into and integrated that into our health coaching space. But you're spending thousands of dollars, and the expectations associated with that are, okay, now it's going to launch, it's going to take off. And you hear the stories, right? The 20, the 50K launch, the 100K launch. And it's, you know, just in health, every body is different. And so progress and results in health are going to look different for each person. And so I think, you know, if we look at the quote unquote failures, that's all based on expectations. And so you're spending thousands of dollars in coaching programs and working to grow your business, and you didn't get the 50K launch. Is that a failure? No. But we learned so much from our coaching programs that we have gone through, and we've met wonderful, wonderful people. Right, Tiff, you're one of the people that we've met as a result of that. So, you know, the universe has such a great way of like, okay, interconnecting people and so I hate the word failure. And I just, you know, that growth mindset kind of thing is like, there's no such thing as failure. It's maybe falling short of where your projections were, or definitely unmet expectations, and then reevaluating. And we say this all the time in our coaching, adapt and shift. Okay, today's workout isn't going to happen at 5 a.m. So is it going to work out to do your workout the same? Or is it going to be a shorter workout? Is it going to be at home? Maybe today isn't a workout day, but tomorrow you hop back on board. And it's that constant ability to navigate, adapt and shift, assess where you're at and where you're going, because that's really what moves you forward. So, you know, failure is not a word that we use or live by.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like using the word, but at the same time, I feel like if I talk around the word, maybe people who think like that and who are being held back by that won't pick it up. It might be too subtle. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that too. Like for one, I have this whole thing of, you know, fail, success. And when I see someone who has this success, I always try and do my research and go, tell me about all the times you failed to get here. Or like all the missteps, right? Even like the big names, like the Richard Bransons and even the Elon Musks, they have their failures along the way. And, you know,
yeah, it's that the overnight success took years to get there.
That's something that always sort of helps me to keep moving forward in those situations. And just looking at, okay, so this didn't work. Now what can we try next time? And not making it mean something about me, whether either on the health side or on the business side.
For sure. Again, it's that brain piece, right? Being able to like pause and not get emotionally reactive to the situation and go, okay, a couple breaths, let's respond. Let's do an assessment and And then what do we need to do from here? What's one thing we can do to take a step forward towards where you want to go? That strategic thinking, reevaluating and adapting and shifting is super key in being able to handle failure. Because we all think it's like gradations of failure, right? Like nobody likes to fall short of their goals or their expectations. That does not feel good. And yes, initially I think our brain's natural response is failure, but we've been trained to think like, oh, that's not failure. It's an opportunity to learn something from it and continue moving forward. So yeah, I agree, Tiff. You definitely need to say the word failure. The whole failure and success, like, ooh, success is another package, like, ooh, success. That's scary.
I have definitely had my struggles with like fear of success too. Like in some ways it has been easier. Like I got used to failing or things not necessarily working out as expected. And then when things do work out as expected, it's like, oh, what? And then, yeah, it's just fascinating how the brain works. Like,
oh my gosh, it's working. Can I keep it up?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Our brains, they are such powerful tools, people. They can powerfully hold you back or they can powerfully propel you forward. We advocate for the forward.
What's been your biggest lesson learned so far in your business or while doing brave things?
I think has just been to trust the journey and to trust myself. You know, just like we talked about, it's the process, the overnight success that takes 5 years or whatever. Like trusting, that is what I've had to learn is if I believe that much that I can help this many people and that this is exactly what I need to do, like I feel 100% positive that this is where I need to be and this is how I'm going to serve people the best. So that lesson of, okay, trust that. Trust that it's going to come. Trust that it's going to happen. On the days that I want to quit, on the days that I'm like, this is too hard, I could go back and get a stable job and be pretty good at it. I have to trust that journey. Just yesterday, I almost sent Jess a text at like 7:50 in the morning telling her I quit. I'm not even joking you. And I paused and I started asking myself, why? Going through this brain piece of what would that bring and what do you want your life to look like? What do you want your kids' lives to look like? And how do I want to serve people? And could I serve people in the way that I am gifted to do in the traditional model? And the answer was no. And I did not text her and I'm not quitting. But these things, they pop up sometimes because the crazy brain fights against us. And so just continuing, it's that thing, it's a continual thing. Just like we teach people in your health, like it's a continual thing that sometimes the stories pop up, but having the tools to be able to squash them when they do, that's what's going to keep you moving forward. And so having that tool yesterday to squash that thought and reevaluate, what do I want and who do I want to be? And okay, push through and adjust, shift, and keep moving forward.
And talk about tools to move forward. Like that's where the coaching comes in and having a coach and all that kind of stuff too. Like that's one of the biggest tools to move forward for sure.
I mean, anybody who is successful has a coach in some way, shape, or form. And, what is success? But, like people that they're on major platforms doing big things, right? They all speak from the space of, hey, I know that I need to be fed and I need to be led by somebody who's doing more and bigger so that we're learning. And basically it's like a mentorship program. And so, coaching, mentorship, hand by hand leadership, whatever that looks like. And that makes us stronger together. For Tracy and I, we're stronger together. But then, it helps us to weather those storms that come up or the crazy brain stories, or of course we want to quit some days because it doesn't look exactly how we want it to yet. And we're humans and we have human thoughts and feelings. And so we just, get to harness that and go, okay, so if I thought this way, then what does that lead me to take action? How would I take action if I thought this way? Or, hey, what about if I shifted that? And just like Tracy said, she took herself through like, okay, no, I want my life to look this way. I want my boys to be able to have this kind of life. And then you go, okay, readjust and continue forward. It might be a little different direction or a little different, step length or step speed, but you're still moving. And so I would say that's for me, I mean, the greatest lessons, the greatest, I don't know if there's one, the greatest, but like harnessing the power of like how God designed our brains to be protective, but also to unleash possibilities. And I'm still learning that game. I'd love to say like, oh, I got this down and I am like game on every day. I'm not. But it certainly is empowering to be able to have that all the time, regardless of how some days I'm not courageous and some days I don't feel brave. But dang it, I have resolve inside my soul of why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I will persevere until my skin falls off. You know, like that's how passionate I feel about it. So, you know, whatever that looks like, which wouldn't be a good look, I'll tell you.
I get that too, because I mean, like it's come up for me so many times, and you know, that whole wanting to maybe give up, or should I get a job or something, and yet I think about me in my 80s or whatever in the hospital bed, and how do I want to look at my life, you know, and like what would I be thinking about it? It's always, you know, I'm glad I didn't give up, I'm glad I did the things, or not that going and getting a job is giving up necessarily, but just for me it's just until I have tried everything, right? You know, then I mean, even this podcast, actually, like I always thought I would get to a certain income level before I would do the podcast, and then I just got sick of waiting, so now I'm just doing it early. So these things that I have planned for certain times, and I'm bringing them forward or doing them in other ways, and yeah, until I've tried everything. Even if I got to the end and I tried everything and it didn't get me the success or income I expected, I'd still be happy with that because I at least tried everything and had fun trying. So
exactly, the having fun and aligning with what like you feel passionate about. Just like, you know, you said, not that there's anything wrong with going back and getting the job, but what really like aligns and resonates with you. And for Jess and I, we know like we still, you know, supplement just a little bit and see some traditional healthcare setting patients, but that is not an alignment. And maybe it's even healthy for us sometimes to go back to that setting once or twice a week to say, I cannot be here full time. This is not an alignment. And I'm going to keep on my mission because I know I feel so connected to where I want to take people. And this is 100% what I'm called to do.
Okay, so let's take a look to the future. What brave things do you have planned for the next 3 to 6 months in your business?
Refining our coaching program. I think we've been definitely evaluating how we can serve people. And I think one of the biggest things is seeing that for us, it is more the longer journey. Like we are getting better results and we feel better about it when we're seeing people for the long period of time. Just like, you know, we said in the clinic, it was the 4 to 6 week kind of thing. And the short sprints, they're fine. But what we really feel connected with is that big picture, that long piece, that long-term sustainable health that we want to take people through. And so that's what we've been really talking about recently is how do we make this like a long integrated program so that people really understand how their lives and health all connect and twine together. Instead of just, okay, we're going to touch base, we're going to, you know, help you with some pain, we're going to get you on track and then send you on your way. But we want to get people to really feel just like you have really connected with, this is just who I am. That's what we want the takeaway to be. And so as we've been looking into the future of, okay, how are we going to create this program to fit what we are skilled at doing and how we feel like we can help people better.
I mean, and I guess if you're going to think like traditional, like, okay, 3 to 6 month goals, have we sat down together as a business and charted out our 2023, the quarters, you know, like, we're supposed to do that too. Yeah. We've been coached along the way that that's what you should do, right? Visualize what you want. And then that helps you move towards it, right? We know all that, but we haven't done it because our efforts have been elsewhere. But shoot, we would love to have 20 to 30 clients, you know, that again are invested in integrating health as a lifestyle and like more long-term and slow and steady steps. Like you, Tiff, we didn't really know that what working with you was going to lead to a longer term relationship, but it's been awesome for us because, you know, this is like quote unquote going to therapy, you know, life goes well for a while and then, you know, tragedy or whatever happens and you're off your game and you go back to your therapist. And so, you know, we're therapists and we're coaches and we're directives and we're like all the things of just helping you navigate health in crazy busy, stressful lives, but helping you find more success, more happiness in your body and your life, and experience less limits. That's really what we're working towards, transitioning towards. So yeah, from a numbers game, let's get 20 clients.
Hey, she said it here first, folks.
Yep, let's do it.
So is that 20 new clients, or is that
20 new clients?
That would stress me out, having to work with 20 clients.
There's 2 of us though. See,
They're cool.
And there's value in how our slower start and understanding working with different clients with different needs. Like, oh, okay, we can see how this fits. You know, like where it's not, we thought we were going to do group coaching, and at some point we will. We're just trying to figure out, that wasn't our launch place, I don't think. And it's more this customized, individualized, and then eventually we're going to see it a little more clearly, and that's okay, right? And so yeah, like being able to work with multiple clients at the same time, I think is going to feel pretty smooth to us.
I definitely hear you on that whole, the group program and the one-on-one, and the one-on-one, it's that ability to customize and to just, you know, tweak things for a different person and then see the better results is just, yeah, I can definitely see the power of that on both sides, health and business, for sure. So what kind of things will you be doing in the next 3 to 6 months to get the 20 clients? Is there a launch planned, or is there, because you guys have done a number of launches, haven't you? Like I've seen you doing launches and promos and challenges and stuff beyond when we worked together, right?
And what we've kind of learned about ourselves is that this like one-time open cart, closed cart launch, and it could just be right now, it's not aligning with us. And we have been doing we've been so much more successful recently in having just real candid conversations. And, you know, like we said earlier, as we've refined our mission and really being crystal clear on how is it that we're helping you, where are we taking you, having these conversations with people more just one-on-one, having a real conversation and saying, hey, this is what we've got for you. How can we serve you? Where are you at? That has been right now where we feel better about versus the let's push it for this week and close it down. And that could change. But yeah, what we've learned about ourselves right now is that that's not the way to go. And so the real conversations are going so much better for us right now.
Do you do like challenges or anything at all through like the stuff you're doing online, or is it just having the content go out and then people contact you for those aligned conversations? Is that where it is more now?
We haven't done a challenge in, I guess it was maybe
6
last
months.
fall that we did our last challenge. And we've toyed around. I think if we do another challenge, we're going to revamp it. But the last one we did, I feel like every time, maybe this is just life, every time we have tried to do the challenge with the launch, at least one of us is in life crisis or something. Like one of them, Jess had COVID during one of them and she was a hot mess. And there's just been such a disconnect in our challenges. And so maybe that's part of why we're like, maybe we just need to chill on the challenges and have a real conversations with people. So I don't know. I think it's something that we're going to have to revisit and decide what we want it to look like in the future.
I think in the future of being able to drive like consistent business fluxing in, that we're not, you know, like having to have millions of conversations organically, you know. I mean, you can use social platforms, but also we've just found like in person, just talking about it in person, and then word of mouth, it spreads. So, you know, getting back into leveraging social platforms with launches and just giving people a flavor of who we are as we work this next 6 months of getting clearer and clearer and clear about what we're doing now, what we've learned recently with our recent successes, I think will allow us to move back into that space and have it be a lot more successful for us.
I just want to say that that whole thing with launching, it is so common to get sick when you're launching. The amount of people and myself who've gotten sick when you're launching, or some kind of family emergency comes up, it's like the universe knows, because it's like you're trying to go up to this other vibration of I'm doing the launch, and then the universe is like, oh, let's just challenge this a little bit, you know, or something, you know. So yeah, I completely understand that. And like even with me, with, you know, like I help people with launches, and in the last few months, like I stepped into that launch coach identity, and then it got even worse for me doing that stuff. So I really do understand where you're coming from. Now I'm going more into the bravery side, and it's like helping people do the next brave thing. And that can be a launch, or it could be, you know, just getting their first couple of clients. And, you know, it's a little less, you know, it's a little less one thing and a little less, you know, the one size fits all, I suppose, but it just does seem to fit me a bit better. And I don't know, I love the fact that even for me, like, yes, I help people with launches if that's what they want to do, but it's not, you know, it's not the only thing that we can do when we're working together. And it's not like, you know, oh, you have to be launching, because even I recognize like it takes a lot. And I wonder if things are shifting in that way, because I tried to attend somebody's traditional launch, like one of the big players who has, you know, millions of followers and 8-figure business, and trying to sit through the webinar, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me, because it was just here's the slides and I'm doing the same thing that I've been doing for so many years, and there was no personal connection. And, you know, even though part of me is dying inside because I know she's making hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this, and it's like here I am trying to do something different and, you know, interact with people and build relationships and but it's just sort of interesting to see the way things are going.
And I think it's just a testament to the, you know, the courage thing. It's just continuing to persevere and move forward. And that, I mean, whatever this next 6 months brings us, we know for freaking sure that is what we are going to be doing, is just continuing to move forward, adapting and shifting, evaluating whatever it is, because we know we're supposed to be doing this. So we'll figure it out.
That the belief and the certainty is really some of the cornerstones of bravery. Like, you know, being, you know, the more you are brave and do those brave things, the more you build that belief in yourself and that certainty to keep taking actions and to keep doing the next brave step.
If there's one thing that we are good at, it is consistency, and we are the queens of consistency. And even as, you know, your Facebook memories pop up, and man, we've been so consistent, and we've been saying the same message, just not as clear. And so that's where I, even looking back at when we first started and how messy it was and how confused we were still saying it, like we're still in alignment, but we've just refined it now that it's like, okay, it's actually making sense. We said it in a very jumbled way back when we were starting, but you know what? We're still saying it. And so I'm like, okay, we are staying true and consistent to who we are.
I mean, that's the messy action that we all have to take in order to refine the message and get better at communicating who we help and how we help them. Like even myself with my bravery masterclass, like I think I was talking to you guys on a health coaching call, and I was like, oh, I don't even know what I'm calling it yet, but I've thrown it out there, and then you guys were like, why don't you call it this? And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. It's like some of the messiest I've ever been, but yeah, it's just like that's the steps we all have to go through.
Well, we don't have to, but we're choosing to, right? Because we know why. I mean, we could all just stay stagnant and stay where we're at, or maybe people are content with where they're at, and awesome. But we knew alignment wise, there was just misalignment in our clinical practices. We knew we were being called to do something different, but there wasn't a postcard in the mail saying, attend this webinar because this is exactly what it's going to look like. And then you enroll into this collegiate program and get this degree, and then you're not going to know. I mean, that's not what it was. And so it's been a journey, and we are journeying strong. And so, yeah, that's the courage piece.
Yeah, that's such a good point about business, actually, because we come out of this, you know, we went to school, they told us the pathway, and then, you know, we get into our job or our career, and there's kind of some general pathway guidelines and rules and things like that. When you get into online business or even your own business of most kinds, it's like the Wild West. There's so many options. You've got the smorgasbord of options, and you've got all of these people going, I can help you, you know.
Totally.
I hadn't thought about it like that. I mean, to me, I love it because I'm creative and it's freeing, and it's like, oh, I can try this shiny thing and that shiny thing. And yeah, that's my slow progression, because shiny things.
Yeah, it's one shiny thing after another.
Just a little while ago, Tracy said you guys are the consistency queens. I would love to know more about how do you become a consistency queen? Because consistency is one of those things that my clients often are like, I just want to be more consistent. And consistency always looks different for different people, but those that struggle with consistency seem to have this very high notion in mind of what consistency is. What's consistency for you guys, and how did you become the queen of it? Tell me more. I need to learn.
We just coined this consistency queen thing a couple weeks ago. I mean, that is our greatest mission, is we want you to stay consistent in your health journey through the ups, the downs, the loop-de-loops. And we call health a curvy journey. You know, it is not a point A to point B, straight, beautiful line, and then you've achieved this thing, because we know it's this continual evolving journey. And so with the consistency piece, it is the showing up for one small action thing a day, like being in true alignment of, it doesn't have to be everything at once. We could adjust your diet and your exercise and your sleep and your all the things and give, again, the checklist, but that is not going to set you up for success. And so when we speak consistency, we like to just help people find a win. And when you start seeing that win, no matter how big or small, you start believing that I am someone that can show up consistently for my health. Oh, I woke up, I'm tired today. I don't want to exercise. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure I hydrate really well. And maybe I'm just going to do a 10-minute little walk or stretch series because I don't feel 100%. But what that does is it proves to your brain and your body, oh, this is someone who's serious. This is someone who is going to keep going, even on the days that she's feeling kind of mediocre. And she must be serious about this, because she's consistently showing up even on the off days. And that is what we teach our clients, is these small pieces, these small wins. You can always build upon it. And one big thing that we reiterate with our clients is meet your body, meet yourself where you are today, not where you were yesterday, not where you were 3 years from now, not where you want to be in 6 months from now, but meet yourself where you are today, and you can always build upon your success. And that way you have the foundation to keep moving forward.
And I think, Tracy, talking about it's the small steps that give your brain evidence that you can, like, what can you do? But that's taking action. And why are you taking action, or why are you not taking action? And that's where the brain science piece comes in, because it helps us to teach this system of thinking and being able to evaluate, okay, if I'm not consistent, what's getting in my way? What do I need to show my brain? Why am I doing this in the freaking first place? Right? And then what is holding me back? What's getting in my way? And being able to look at those two things, because that will direct your behavior to show up consistently. And it goes back to how you're thinking about something. Does it have enough meaning, or are you coming up with brain blocks? Is your brainy poo trying to pull you back from the outside the comfort zone in the courage and bravery zone? And is it trying to pull you back into, nope, stay in here because this is safe and comfortable and familiar? And so, like, recognizing those two pieces of, why do you want to do the dang thing in the first place? Because you want to get healthy, and getting healthy requires eating a particular way and moving your body. Like, those are two no brainers. And even though that's that supports health, you're still not doing it. Okay, so what more do you really want from being healthier? And then what gets in your way? And that, when you can navigate that helps you show up consistently.
And there's people who will sell you, and we could even tell you, 10 minutes of exercise, it's easy. Just meal prep. This is easy. Yeah, they're easy, but you know what else is easy? Ordering takeout, sitting on my couch and watching Netflix. They're both easy. And so we get the opportunity to walk our clients through, let's choose your easy. And like Jess said, figure out why it matters, because both are easy, but one's going to take you one path and the other's going to take you the other path.
It's funny because when I asked you the question about consistency, I thought I was going to hear something that I didn't know yet. And it's all the stuff you guys have been teaching me, and I applied to the health side. And then it's on the business side. It's like, we know that we have to, connect with people, make offers, and then that's how we build a business. And yet that stuff is just, it can be doing a post or those little things, but the smaller consistent steps, I suppose, and just proving to your brain, like, yes, we're still in this, we can still take a step forward, even if we're not feeling it today, or, even if we think it's not working. Gosh, you must have that all the time too. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If there was a listener who's about to do the next brave thing in their business, maybe their health, maybe their life, but they're hesitating or waiting for the right time, what would you say to them?
There's never a right time. It's never going to be perfect. And if you're waiting for it, you're going to keep waiting. And so stepping in, being brave, taking that messy action, that's the key. Just start, messy and all.
Yeah, of course I could, put the neuro coaching hat on and go, well, what is it that you really want to do? Like, again, getting clear on why you want to, what's the big deal? Why is it that whatever it is that you want to do, why do you want to lose weight? Like, why is that important? And then, digging into that deeper and deeper. But yeah, take messy action. You've got to be courageous to take messy action. There is no script for it. You can have tactics and strategies, which are sold to us everywhere, right? Those are the shiny objects, but it has to integrate to what the whole mission is. Like, what is the overall outcome? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be? How do you want to live? It's just a different way of thinking about it. And your brain is going to hold you back. With 100% guarantee, Brainy Poo's job is to keep you safe and comfortable and in the familiar. So if you're saying you want to do something different, you better put your courage boots on, and then lock arms with someone who can lead you into it and hold you accountable and help shed some different perspective and help you adapt and shift and navigate a little differently. But gosh, it has to have that deep, like, just resolving meaning inside of your core. Otherwise, it'll come to a halt at some point. Your brain will just stop you from doing it.
Thank you guys so much for all of your amazing time today and the amazing insights. I'm always fascinated about the crossover between business and health, and just even in our health coaching sessions, we go through something. I'm like, oh, I could apply that to my business and all that sort of stuff. I think that's why I really enjoy working with health coaches and business coaches and that kind of thing. So yeah, just that crossover. So where can people get in touch with you and follow you and find out more about you guys?
Well, we have a podcast called Limitless Health, and our Facebook community is Hardwired for Health. My personal Instagram is movement.warrior, and I'm speaking for the business. We just haven't shifted it into the business one.
Talk about messy action. We don't have a glorious website, and we don't have like the perfect platforms, Facebook to Instagram, and it all interlinks and blah 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 and sends you to all these different places, and that's fine. We're still speaking and serving. So yeah. Our podcast honestly has just been a lovely platform to be brave and courageous and step out and do it, and we have a ton of fun doing it.
All right. Well, unless there's anything else you guys want to say as a last thing, I'll finish up there.
Well, thanks for having us, Tiff. You have been amazing, Tiff, just watching you evolve through your business and in your health. And it's just been such an honor to be on the journey with you. And so thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Great honor and just a great learning tool working with you. So we appreciate you immensely.
And I should say, actually, I'm also way back. I'm a guest on your podcast, so people can always go and listen to that one too.
I know you were like episode 1 or 2, I think.
Yeah, the early days. So, like, was that a year ago or how long?
Oh my gosh, it was over a year ago.
Right. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us,
Tiff.
Thanks for listening to the Business Bravery podcast. Has this episode inspired you to do something brave? Even if it's only send a difficult email, please share it with me on Instagram or other social media channels. Feel free to tag me at Tiffany G Studios. That's TIFFANY G for golf, STUDIOS, no spaces, no underscores, etc. Or you can use the hashtag Business Bravery Podcast so that I can cheer you on, and together we can inspire other coaches and course creators to do brave things in their business and life. Now, I'm Tiffany, and I'll leave you with this one last thing. What's one brave thing you're going to do today? It doesn't have to be big. Even the smallest steps can create the most massive results. So again, feel free to share it with me either publicly or privately so that I can cheer you on. That's it from me. Until next time, bye for now.